long time in the 80s, I was waiting for people to find out what a loser I really was.
80s icon Rick Springfield, superstardom to suicide attempts.
Tried to off myself a couple of times.
The night he went to jail.
Next thing I know, they're handcuffing me and throwing me in the car.
And the phone call from Oprah that sent him over the edge. A stunning insider interview.
I was beyond insulted.
Rick Springfield's startling suicide confession.
One of them was a very serious attempt.
And what he revealed about the night he spent behind bars for fighting with his wife.
I actually scratched my initials in the jail cell with my wedding ring.
Don't move, we'll be right back. Plus, Rick Springfield inside the night he was thrown in jail.
Next thing I know, they're handcuffing me and throwing me in the car.
His troubled marriage, and for the first time ever, the time Rick tried to kill himself.
I was an incredibly depressed person.
Tomorrow on The Insider. Back in the 80s, he wished that he had Jesse's girl. Now, Rick Springfield is wishing for a comeback. His inspirational story to hell and back will surprise you. It's a side of the pop icon you never knew. It's tonight's Insider interview.
For a long time in the 80s, I was waiting for people to find out what a loser I really was. I just feel completely unworthy of people's attention.
The suicide attempt.
One of them was a very serious attempt.
His heartthrob passed.
I didn't get in the business to be a teen idol or a pop idol.
And the night a fight with his wife landed him behind bars.
Next thing I know, they're handcuffing me and throwing me in the car.
Rick Springfield, 55, making music and ready to get back into the game. Back in 1981, Springfield rocketed to fame with his angst-ridden pop anthem, Jesse's Girl. Over the next 24 years, he'd sell an astounding 19 million albums, nearly equal to that of Coldplay today. But for Rick, success left him lonely, confused, and self-destructive.
My mom kept telling me, these are the best years of your life, you know, and I'm going, don't tell me that.
Even marriage and a family couldn't erase the shocking details of his early suicide attempts, revealed for the first time to The Insider.
My teen years, I was an incredibly depressed person, and actually tried to off myself a couple of times. 15, 16, 17 were the worst years of my life. You know, when the hormones were hitting, and I just suddenly didn't want to be in my skin.
And when his professional career seemed to have all but dried up, the song that made him a star came back to slap him hard in the face.
I think the lowest point in my life was when Oprah Winfrey Show about 10 years ago called up and wanted me to be on the One-Hit Wonder Show.
But Rick's all-too-public personal low was still to come. In September of 2000, 911 operators received reports of a heated argument coming from Rick's Malibu home. Accusations of wife-beating swirled around the singer. He was arrested and spent a humiliating night in jail.
My wife and I have always, in the beginning, had a very volatile relationship.
His wife, Barbara, never pressed charges and later denied the attack. Through it all, Rick maintained his unwavering love.
We've been together for 25 years, you know, and I love her completely, and it's and I feel love back.
For more on Rick, log on to theinsideronline.com, powered by Yahoo Entertainment. Back on track with a new lease on life, Rick's released a new CD titled The Day After Yesterday, an album of cover songs Rick says mirrors his roller coaster ride through life.
It's been an incredible journey. I've lived a lot of life. I mean, I've really done a lot of things. I've been a lot of places. I've done a lot of good and bad things, and I am planning to live a long time to make up for it.
Proving he can triumph over tragedy, Rick has taken his new show on the road and is currently on a 43-city tour.
Always comes up somewhere, and that's great. I mean, I'm very, very proud of the fact that I wrote a song that's, you know, still has meaning, you know, for people, and still has memories, and it's really, you know, becoming my theme song. I think the lowest point in my life was when Oprah Winfrey Show about 10 years ago called up and wanted me to be on the One-Hit Wonder Show. The negatives, of course, is it overshadows other stuff, you know. And, I mean, that's the complaint of every artist, you know. I mean, yeah, I did this, but this is what I'm doing now, and that's just something you live with, you know. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, you could be going, you know, so who are you? You know, what have you done? So it's good. That's a good signpost. At least there's some recognition, you know. There's not a lot of downside to it, truly. I mean, I'm completely okay with with the fact that it's going to be there, you know, and we play it every time we play the show, and you know, and I'm very proud of it. It's like a favorite child, you know. You go into a hit and people know it. And you wrote it. It's very meaningful. I didn't get in the business to be a teen idol or a pop idol or whatever it is. I wanted my songs to be heard, and I wanted, you know, that needy thing. If I wanted people to like them, and however I could get that across was, you know, I used. The ups are obvious, you know, they're success, and you're achieving something. You're in a field. I'm in a field that I love. I feel that I have something to offer, that I'm being creative, that I'm, you know, doing what I've always dreamed I've wanted to do. The downside is, you know, getting home by yourself at times, and for a long time in the 80s, I was waiting for people to find out what a loser I really was, you know, and I've heard a lot of people say that. They're waiting for them to catch on, you know, because suddenly, you know, there's all this clamor, and you know, it still continues, people coming at me saying, you know, I've followed you since I was 12 years old, you know, and you go, you truly feel not worthy. I mean, that's probably the down thing, is sometimes if I'm really, because I don't want to be the depression poster child, but I have had, you know, when I was my teen years, I was incredibly depressed person, and actually tried to off myself a couple of times, and thankfully didn't succeed, but there were one of them was a very serious attempt, and I was just I've been like this my whole life, you know, and it's just something that I've had to deal with. And the down moments of that are when, you know, and I just feel completely unworthy of people's attention and their, you know, whatever the love that they feel, connection they feel to what I've done. That's really the downest part for me. I was joking about the Oprah Winfrey thing. That was funny to me, but the real moments are, you know, those. Life is a battle and a journey and a amazing, you know, up and down roller coaster, and sometimes you grasp it and sometimes you don't. I've lived a lot of life. I mean, I've really done a lot of things. I've been a lot of places. I've done a lot of good and bad things, and I am planning to live a long time to make up for it.